Hello everybody, I'm Christian Wall, Professor of Psychology at Wake Forest University, and welcome back to my series of videos about coping with the coronavirus pandemic. One note about these videos is what I'm not trying to do is to give you advice about specific things that you should or shouldn't be doing. There are plenty of other people to listen to for advice, like celebrities or your mother-in-law, those types of people. But today what I want to do is talk about the science of coping. What do we know from the research on coping and how people successfully cope? So today what we're going to talk about is the power of positive emotions in times like these, in these specifically stressful times. So I want you to imagine how, let's say that this candy is negative emotions, or these negative events that are happening in your life right now. So you can imagine things like taking care of a sick loved one, or running out of some supplies, or because of video conferencing you realize that you live in a poorly lit dungeon. The negative things in your life. These are the positive things in your life even right now. Things like interacting with your loved ones. Things like finding that last toilet paper roll on the shelf at the store. Now, what we know from research is that people who are good at successfully coping with stress are those who have both. Who in their lives, especially during the stressful times, are able to exhibit both. So let me give you a couple of examples of some studies that have shown this. Back when I was entering grad school, it was 2001, September. And then 9/11 hit. And we got some information, some data on some participants both before and after 9/11 had happened, trying to figure out how they were going to cope with it. What we discovered was something interesting, that those who coped the best, those who tended to be the most resilient, were the ones who not only had negative emotions like fear and anxiety and anger, but also positive emotions like gratitude and compassion and love. It was those positive emotions mixed in with the negative emotions that helped protect them from things like depression and stress. In another study, they interviewed widows who had just recently been widowed. We're talking within a couple of weeks. And they asked them to talk about their husbands. And what they found was that those who had smiles while talking about their husband, even though he had passed just 2 weeks earlier, were the ones who ended up doing the best later on. Those who were able to experience positive emotion, and even in the midst of a recent loss, ended up being resilient. So that's what we want to do. We want to have this nice mix of positive and negative, even at dire times like this. And what's important is you can get this nice mix by either reducing the negative or by increasing the positive. And both of these are important to do. A lot of times we get caught up with ideas about how do I reduce negative, how do I reduce anxiety and fear, and that's important. But we know that it's equally important to also find ways to increase the positive, and to do so in a genuine way. Not faking it, not putting on a smile and hopefully everybody is convinced that you're happy, but to find those genuine activities and opportunities to promote positive emotions in your life right now. And also to keep in mind the importance of this mix. This is different than this. We want this. We want that negative to be in there, because that negative, that anxiety is going to keep you looking for that important information, or keep you protecting yourself and washing your hands and other things like that. So we really do still want that mix in there. But it's important to have that mix. And sometimes if we don't catch ourselves, if we don't notice it, it's easy for the positive emotions to start going away. Alright, so that's the video for today. Thank you for listening in. We're going to have some more videos later on about specific ways maybe that people use to generate these positive emotions. But until then, thank you and be well.